All right, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org. Here's the website. If you're interested in nightly Elliott wave analysis, check out bullwaves.org. And that's that. Let's move on. Let's get into the show, as they say. Okay, I'm going to start with the FX market. This is euro dollar, and all going well. This will be quite a quick update. But anyway, I'm not going to get stuck in the mud tonight or today. Here we are. It's in general, I think the pattern in euro dollar is, well, it's corrective to the upside, but overall, I'm looking for a corrective pattern to the upside. This should be the ending move of a triangle. Wave E is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a move probably back up towards that 119, 120 area. And it may well be quite a choppy ride. We'll see how it goes. So far, the move off the low has been in that vein, reasonably corrective looking. So I don't know whether wave A in blue here is going to trace out 3 waves up, or if it's going to be a 5-wave move. There's no set pattern on that one, so we'll just see how it develops. Here's the hourly chart, and this is what I'm working with so far. There's the wave D low. 108.06 is the critical low here. We may have 5 waves up into wave 1 or A, depending on how you want to view it. Or I'm looking now, after the last few days, the rally that we've had was reasonably corrective looking. So we could be tracing out an expanded flat or a running flat here. So depending on where we already have, you could probably say that we have already got a running flat in place. So if the decline, let's say, if the decline continues this evening, it looks like we'll probably move towards that expanded flat scenario in a possible second wave. So it's an ABC pattern. We'll see how it goes. In general, I'm looking next week for this upside move to continue. I would like to see an acceleration up into the upside, probably back above 115 or so. If that happens, it'll pretty much confirm that wave E, the larger wave E, is underway, and that wave D is done with. So let's see if 108, we'll call it 108.98, as long as 109 holds, let's say. Or no, 108.98 will be, let's say, the preliminary target for wave 2 to complete. As long as 108.06 holds, then this wave count is, let's say, still developing and maybe even quite likely. Cable, looking for a turn up in cable also. We've had a slight improvement this week, and not much to go on just yet. I'm looking for a large wave 5 to develop to the upside. On the hourly chart, you can see the pattern is it may even suit a corrective move higher rather than an impulsive at this moment in time. You could call this a wave 1 and expanded flat wave, running flat wave 2, and then maybe a 1-2 pattern developing here again. We shall see. Excuse me. If the upside continues, and towards the end of next week, if we do have 5 waves up in place, then we are, pretty much on form for a turn higher into a 5th wave up. Okay, let's move on. Here's dollar yen. Was looking for an acceleration out of this triangle scenario. We got the acceleration out. I'm pretty sure that we will have a 3rd and a 4th wave come in pretty soon, but it hasn't happened yet. That's that's where I'm lying at the moment. If we get to the hourly chart, so we should, in general, we should expect a 5-wave pattern higher in wave 5 of wave 1. So we'll see here on the hourly chart where I think I might be at this moment in time. Depending on how you view it, either we're completing wave 1 of 5 right now, or we're moving towards the end of wave 3 of 5. It really depends on how you view the end of the triangle here, because you can legitimately, you could call this a wave 1 and a wave 2. I'm at the moment I'm viewing this as wave D and E of the triangle, but it's kind of undecided really, to be honest. if that's wave 1 and 2, then this large acceleration here is wave 3. Even so, it doesn't really matter how I label the top here. I think we have a 5-wave pattern complete. Even, let's say, towards today's highs, we have a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 complete into today's highs. All we haven't had yet is a reasonably sized corrective decline, maybe back towards 116 or so in a second wave. So that's what I will be expecting early next week, is a corrective decline, probably back below 118 anyway, maybe towards a break of 117, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. Now here is the Dow. We have pretty much completed another 3-wave pattern to the upside. I'll show you more. It's more evident, obviously, on the short-term chart, but you can see off the top we have a possible 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's say the rally this week has been tracked pretty reasonably. I think we are, if not done, very close to done here on this second wave rally, and we should return lower next week. Obviously, the shorter term count that I had in place last week was ruled out with the rally this week, but that was in the mix anyway, because it was probably a 50-50 chance whether that count was true or not. But let's get into the hourly chart and I'll show you what I'm thinking here. Here is the 1-2 scenario. That's the wave 1 blue low. So we have 3 up in A, a possible 3 pattern lower in B, and a possible 3 pattern higher in C. So it's a triple 3, which would be a complex combination pattern in wave 2. We have a double touch there, a double tag of the 62% retracement level. No impulsive move lower yet. We did have one earlier on in the week, but it was retraced pretty quickly. So that, let's say, the possibility for that developing into a third wave down disappeared quite quickly. Right now, we do have a nice trend channel to the upside, a 3-3-3 pattern, and let us see whether this develops as a second wave top or not. You can still make the argument that we have 3 waves down and this is just a correction. I suppose next week should be enough to either confirm or deny that point of view. So we'll see. Move on to gold. What's this do there? Okay. Gold. Here is the 4-hour chart. I was looking for a 3-wave pattern down in wave 2, looking at a break of 1900 for that wave 2 to complete. I'm not sure whether we're done yet here. There are obviously alternate scenarios here that are quite possible, but right now we do have a 1-2 pattern in place. The question is, do we have an impulsive move to create a higher low here? And that could be on its way pretty soon. Interesting how on the 4-hour chart the decline reached the 200 MA and then bounced off it again. So I'll show you on the hourly chart what I think here. Possible 3-3-5 pattern down into wave 2 here with a running flat wave B. So an A, B, C, where wave C does not break the high of wave B. In that case, we do have, well, a reasonable, let's say, I'm going to say a possible 5-wave low into wave C this week. I find it encouraging that we push towards the 62% retracement. We bounce back off that again. Not, terribly, how would you say, convincing right now, but I'm allowing for a possible 1-2 pattern here. If we break 1894 again at this low here, it may signal something bigger is going on to the downside. So I'm going to leave that for next week. This is the pattern I'm working with right now. If you want to keep up with it, go join the website. Hey, okay, here we go. This is, well, possibility for outcome here. We do have 62% retraced in wave 2. If we see a 5-3 pattern to form a higher low above 1895 again, then we're on for wave 3. So watch for that next week. Okay, crude oil. A reasonable bounce into today's highs. Again, it's undetermined right now whether we are going to get a larger decline or not. So the hot air has pretty much come out of that throw over that we've had. The price is back between those trend channel. See that trend channel rally that we had? Price is back between that again. So I am cautiously hopeful that we are developing a large 1-2 pattern here to the downside, and we should return quite significantly to the downside over the medium term. Look at me and my double speak. It's really coming along these days. Okay, and I don't even watch Bloomberg or CNN. Okay, move on. Here is the hourly chart on crude oil. Here is the 5-wave pattern lower that I'm working with. So we had a wave 1 to acceleration wave 3 waves up in wave 4, and then an extension pattern in wave 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Completes wave 1 down in blue. Now, what happens from here? 3 waves up in A, maybe we get 3 down in B, and then a rally in wave C. It could be a large second wave correction, possibly citing that 110, 112 area, previous 4th wave high. That would be an interesting area to watch for resistance to build to this correction. And if we do return lower again towards the end of next week, that will signal a third wave down is developing. I think if we get a third wave down, it'll probably come in line with, peace talks and the Iran nuclear deal. We're so close to the Iran nuclear deal, Vienna talks concluding that. I think that will be, in itself, that will be a real loosening of the noose around oil supplies, to be quite honest. If we get peace talks in Ukraine that actually conclude in something, boy, won't the world be in a tizzy of peace and safety at that point. And you know what they say when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them. Okay, here's wave 1 and 2. Go look that one up. You'll find it interesting. Wave 1 and 2 underway. Let's see how wave 2 finishes early next week. Here is the 4-hour count in the S&P. We haven't returned down into that third of a third decline yet, so obviously the previous wave 2 high did not come into play, so we are still looking at a wave 1-2-1-2 scenario. If we go to the short-term chart, and I'll show you how that has developed today. Possible 5-wave down in wave 1 in blue, 3 up in A, 3 down in B, and a 5-wave. It could actually be a wedge pattern, a 5-wave wedge pattern into today's highs. We have broken the wave A high. We are at the 62% retracement level again. All things point to a 3-wave correction in a second wave, so long as that 45.92 level or 45.9150 level holds next week. Then I think I am expecting a third wave decline to begin next week. Okay, let's move on to silver. Here is the silver pattern. We are not done here yet. If this 4-hour count is correct, then we will see a decline in 5 ways back below $20, maybe even an overshoot to the downside. That will be over the next couple of months. The hourly count is looking reasonable at the moment. We do have a 3-wave expanded flat correction and then an acceleration, or let's say a reasonable decline off that interim high there. The second wave correction did only retrace above the 38% retracement level. So, it's still, let's say, an open ballpark here. I'm not going to make any major calls for a third wave down here, but if we do, well, let me clarify that. We need some impulsive actions to the downside again to signal that a third wave down is beginning. So this is one to watch for next week. Let's get into Bitcoin. Excuse me. I'm playing or toying with the idea of a possible triangle building here. There are two legitimate ways to view this right now. Triangle is one of them. That's seen best on the 4-hour count here. So this could be a fourth wave of a wave 1 down. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's get into the hourly count here. Here is the, let's say, secondary interpretation of that pattern. We may have a 1-2 pattern, or sorry, a 1 and a 2 pattern, followed by 5 waves down in wave 1, and then a developing wave 2. Well, yes, a developing wave 2. It's quite hard to call right now. We do have 3 waves up into a possible wave 2, an impulsive looking decline. This could be a wave 1 and an ABC up in wave 2. If this is the case, then let's say base case scenario, we get a break of 42, let's say 42,600, and then we turn lower into a third of a third of a third decline, which would be that would be notable, I think, very much so notable. That would bring us all the way back towards below 20,000, let's say, in this scenario. The alternate count is for this C wave to complete. There's that triangle again. Here's the daily count. Here's that triangle again. If that's a fourth wave triangle, then we should get a fifth wave down, and at least a break of 28,000, probably back towards 25,000 to complete. This is a large ABC pattern that I've been following for a while. I'm starting, I think, to move towards this triangle scenario here. So I would watch this further price compression next week, followed by a little break below, let's say, the range, below, let's say, 37,000 again. That would really fall in favor of a triangle here in a fourth wave, and then we would expect a fifth wave down over the following few weeks. Okay, let's move on. Here's a NASDAQ. You can see a 5-wave pattern down off the high, and an ABC pattern pretty much close to completion. Was expecting a C-wave rally this week. We have a C-wave rally this week. Question is, are we done here yet? We could push towards that 50% retracement level, so we could push back above 14,850 maybe. Complete that. Let's see how that goes. Here's the short-term chart. Here's wave 1 low, and there's the ABC. It should be an expanded flat, so we have A up, B down to a new low, and then a 5-wave rally in wave C should break above, let's say, 14,400 to complete. We're close to that now. I think the ABC pattern is the best interpretation at the moment. If this is wave 2, then we should see wave 3 down begin next week. And I think that is that. Done with the bad news of the market. I always give you the good news of salvation. Here it is. The ABCs of salvation: admit, believe, and confess. If you are in my camp of, let's say, the end time scenario, definitely end time scenario in terms of market action anyway. Maybe it's time to look at something bigger than yourself. And this is where I gaze to anyway, to find my let's say bearings in life every day. So, as I said last week, only one God that was ever professed on this planet came down to give his life for you, and that was Jesus. And that was to pay the debt of our sin. And I know that I'm a sinner, and I'm thankful that my debt is paid because of my belief. So, if you want that, I'll see you in heaven. Follow the ABCs of salvation and just ask. I mean, if God is who God says he is, all-knowing, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, well, then he can hear you. And all you have to do is ask. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door shall be opened. Ask, who is this Jesus guy, Lord? And you will be told. Okay, that's that. Until next week, I think, unless anything, unless the Antichrist rises before then, we shall see you on YouTube land, and I will see everyone tonight on tonight's update, all you website members. Blessings to you all. Maranatha. See you later. Bye-bye.